Stop jumping on me. Why are you doing that?
Having a bad dog day?
Rex, come back here.
From police dogs to pet dogs, from potty training to pet peeves, #1 best-selling author and 30-year canine trainer Andy Falco knows how to get to the meat of what's eating your dog. This is Falco Canine Dog Talk, the show that helps you and your dog create a relationship of love and respect.
What a good boy. Good heel, Rex. I love you, Rex.
And now here's your host, Andy Falco.
Hello and welcome to Falco Canine Academy's Train the Dog Trainer program. I'm Andy Falco. You're here with us on the Falco Canine Dog Talk radio channel. I love doing that. And we are going to be moving along and discussing something really important, and that is developing who you are as a dog trainer, what your style is going to be, what types of dogs, what type of situations are you going to be a dog trainer for. Again, up to this point, you have been getting as many dogs under your belt in regard to training. You also want to make sure and have contact with the humans and talking to them about the process and what it is you're doing. And then, and now I think is a good time to understand and learn how you're going to communicate to the human beings what is going to take to maintain the training that either you have gotten started with or without them, or you're going to give them a plan on what the next steps are for creating a loving and respectful relationship between them and their dogs. Yes, love and respect is our system of training over at Falco Canine Academy. I use it in about everything that I do, including police dogs, which is probably one of the hardest sells in the world, to tell a police officer that he needs to train his dog with love and respect, because it sounds so soft and so bland. But it's funny enough, I'm doing a Facebook Live today. Who knows when you're listening to this, so it could be years from now that you're listening to this. But I'm doing a Facebook Live today where I'm demonstrating how love and respect works even in a police dog. And so I'm doing that. You may want to look for it. I'm not sure what I'm going to call it now. Maybe training a police dog with love and respect. It should be on one of our channels, YouTube channel, our Facebook channel. Somewhere along the way, or Vimeo channel. So anyway, that is our system, training with love and respect. And so, as we are going along, and again, if you're listening to this and you've been around for a very long time and you are just looking to pick up a few tips, what you're listening to now, these first few episodes, you may want to open your doors up and kind of understand that there are people that want to be dog trainers, and hopefully, if they're coming to you, that you're expanding enough that you can either hire them, or you can eventually have such a good trainer that comes through your doors that you allow them to license out your company name and start their own dog training business. So either one of those, if you find somebody that is fantastic, we have 2 in particular at Falco, actually more than that, 3, and we had 4 in Ireland, but he closed the doors on the Ireland one. But in Argentina, we have Aldo Secchi, who comes to the United States every so often. We have Gina, who is fantastic. She's running our Orange County facility. And Derek Bergner, who is her assistant or partner on the field in regard to training the dogs. And they are all fantastic. They all came through Falco Canine Academy. They have really taken on their own personas within the company, sticking to a process of training dogs with love and respect, and teaching the human beings the same thing, understanding what the concepts are of when to use some kind of compulsion, when to use reward, what types of different tools that can be used, and they learn all of them. They don't just learn one tool. And so as a seasoned trainer, if that's you who is listening right now, then look at these episodes not as a throwaway and going, this isn't where I'm starting. I need more advanced training. Well, if you are advanced and you have a business and it's running, you need to listen to these examples that I'm giving to open the doors and create a program where people can come in and learn the craft. And in many times, not always, but in many times, a person who's learning from the ground zero from you, they're not really coming necessarily with any bad habits other than the bad habits they created of training their own dog in their own preconceived ideas that from what they've learned on television or from a book, right? So you don't have to shed some of the old stuff. Now, having a trainer like Aldo Secchi, who came to me, who had a lot of dog training experience, and has his own systems and things like that, we had to find a middle ground to kind of come to, because not everything he agrees, I'm sure, with me, and not everything, and now I think pretty much we're almost the same. He just doesn't speak English as well as I do, and not that I speak English that great, as you can tell by listening to these podcasts. But I know that people can understand me a lot better than they can him. But as far as our training styles, we're very, very similar, and he is doing fantastic work, and he may have surpassed me in regard to his knowledge and abilities in regard to training dogs. He's fantastic. Gina is on her way too, and Derek, if he continues, he's a young man. If he continues on a positive path, and if he continues to want to learn, which is really important, you have to continue to want to learn and not believe that you know everything. I'm not saying that's who he is, but that's the danger of the 20-somethings now and the 30-somethings, that at some point they stop learning. Of course, that's not Derek, but I'm just saying it might be if he allows himself to go down that path. So we want to make sure that we're always learning. I am 55 stinking years old. I don't even have any idea how that happened. But I never stop learning. There's not an article that doesn't come by that I spot and then I won't take the time to read it, or a video of something that's may or may not be new and watch it. And I still interview dog people in regard to dog products and dog services and dog training. On many of my broadcasts that I've done, I've interviewed people at Super Zoo in Las Vegas. And so there's that you always want to be learning. So whether you're a brand new trainer or an experienced trainer, I think these episodes are good for both. All right, so where are we at today? Today, what I want you to do is really begin to start to create who you are. You want to create your attractive character in regard to a dog trainer, in providing the services of training somebody and their dog, okay? So this is important, especially in the dog world, where I've talked about this on the other episodes, where my experience is that many dog trainers, at least in the past, the ones that I haven't unfortunately been able to visit any other dog trainers lately and sat through one of their courses or classes or conferences or seminars, which I should, I just haven't been able to. There's many of them, not all of them, many of them who are horrible with people but great with dogs. There's some of them that are horrible with dogs and horrible with people too, but I'm not going to tell you who they are. But there's some people that are just, they don't understand, right? They yell at their customers, they blame them, and belittle them. And I've even had them in as far as I've even hired them. Of course, when you hire people, their resume looks good, they talk a good talk during the interview, and they have skill, right? Because one of the things I want to make sure before anybody gets hired is that they show some skill, and this in skill with people, right, is really important with us. And then something goes wrong. It's like a dog. It's like when you get a shelter dog. The first couple of days are fantastic, right? This dog comes in and the dog is really nice, and then 2 weeks to 4 weeks down the road, complete helter-skelter. The dog is aggressive, the dog is eating stuff, and blah, blah, blah. As many of you know, and many of you will learn, is that any dog that is brought to your home as a young adult or an adult, for the first couple weeks, you may have this perfectly, it appears to be this dog that seems to be perfect for your family. It fits in perfect. And then the real personality of the dog will come out later on. And so that's kind of like employees. They are fantastic. It's much like a restaurant when it opens for the first time, right? The first couple of weeks, first couple of months, what a great restaurant, great service, everybody's smiling, everybody's happy, my pleasure when they serve you, and then suddenly the portions get smaller, the people get crabby, and the food tastes like crap. All right, so the dogs are just the same, and so are employees. I don't care if you're talking about dog trainers or not. All right, and they can go a little wacky and a little crazy. So always understand that the human that is paying you, writing that check, giving you the cash, running that credit card, They are the most important part of the equation in regard to dog training. The human being is more important than the dog in regard to business, right? Not always necessarily in regard to who lives and who dies, right? Of course, I'm exaggerating. You can never be too careful on these podcasts. You never know where they're going to show up. And so the humans involved in your dog training business are the most important thing to understand. You don't have to like them, right? As a matter of fact, you don't even have to take their business. And I'm going to talk about that later. I'm not going to jump off track, as hard as it is not to jump off track. But so as you're developing your persona, as you're developing your attractive character, you want to do it. You want to develop this attractive character with the customer in mind, your perfect customer in mind. We're going to talk about how to find your perfect customer in a future episode. But you're going to want to develop who is it and what do you have in your personality that is attractive to people? How can you use that to create interest in your business? What is it about you? Are you funny? Are you informative? Are you a good teacher? Do you connect with people really well? And be honest. Don't lie to the mirror, right? Maybe ask some of your friends, what is it you like about me, and tell them to be honest with you. And what is it they don't like about you, and find out who it is that you are as a person, and then figure out how is it that you're going to use it to create an attractive character. Are you a teacher? Are you studious? Do you study the situation between the dog, and you let them know, okay, I'm going to study this, your situation, and you may not be the funniest person in the world, but they're going to be attracted to you because you really care, and you're going to figure out what's going on, and you're going to study it, right? And you're going to go through the process, and you're going to take them along on that process. Are you going to use humor, which tends to be one of my things that I like to use in regard to training dogs, is that I use humor because there's times where I'm brutally honest with people. And so with the brutality of some of the honesty, you have to have a way of getting people to smile, even though you just made them feel like crap, right? But the brutal honesty sometimes has to happen in order to get movement, to get them to do something and get them to respond to what it is that you're teaching them. So you may not have that. You may not have the ability to be brutally honest. You may have to hire somebody else to be brutally honest for you. And I can be brutally honest with dogs, but I can't be brutally honest when it comes to getting paid by contractors and people that owe me money. That's why I hired Carlene, my assistant. She can be that person, and I prefer she be that person, right? And so we have to understand who it is we are, what our personalities are, how we're going to use them, and kind of embellish maybe on some of them to make them a little bit more, exposed, so that people become attracted. Again, it's attractive, your attractive character, not your repelling character. You want to diminish your repelling character, whatever that is, right, and increase your attractive character. As dog trainers go, with my dog trainers, we can be even more brutally honest about a customer, but not in front of them, right? We go and have a beer or whatever, and we go, oh my God, did you see that moron, right? But, of course, never in front of them, right? We may attack them like, listen, I really need you to listen here. And what we've been watching for the last 2 weeks is you continually doing that thing we tell you not to do. And what is it? How can I help you not do that again? Because at some point, I'm going to throw a rock and hit you in the head every time you do that, right? And so there's got to be something that motivates them, and something you can say without telling them they're a moron, right? And so we can do that in private, but we're gonna withhold it in front of our customers. That's an extreme circumstance, and I know that you all realize that. But I have seen trainers throw crap at handlers. Literally, we call it a throw chain. Some of you may know about this, but a half of like a choke chain with about 6 links on it, maybe 5 links with the big rings on the ends. They call that a throw chain. And the theory is you throw it at the dog because the dog's at a distance, not on leash, and you toss it at them to get a response, because the dogs can hear the sound of the choke chain that they recognize, and then they get hit by something, right? We don't do that, but I'm just saying, I've been around the trainers who've used throw chains. Well, I've seen trainers use throw chains on their customers and hit them with them. I have never done that, but I've just proven a point that there are all kinds out there. You need to find the manageable, how it's easy for you to manage yourself in your own character, and you're gonna find that thing where you can be more attractive than repelling, right? And use your character, whatever that is, whatever it is naturally, and kind of embellish it or increase it and find out who that is. The next thing you want to do is find out who is it that you want to train and what systems and what disciplines do you want to train. Is your goal to just simply make a dog better so that it can stay in its forever home, right? Could that be the thing that you're going to work with people primarily that adopt rescue dogs, shelter dogs, problematic dogs? Then that is who you're going to be as far as a dog trainer. Understanding that can change as time goes on. You can expand your training. Remember, I started as a police dog trainer, then I went into detection dog trainer, and then I went into pet dog training. I did just the opposite of what most people do, right? Most people start with training a dog to sit, and then build up to the police dog stuff. I did it the other way around. And so, what is it and who is it that you're going to train? Is it a certain breed? Right? Are you going to just work with German Shepherds? Are you going to just work with Labrador Retrievers? You're just going to work with small dogs, which they need out there. I can't stand small dogs to a certain extent. Of course, I don't tell my clients who have small dogs that, but I do razz them a little bit. But I'm really not a big fan of the small dogs. But I know trainers that are, and they're very good with them, and that could be your thing. Are you going to do agility? Is your goal to bring them in and teach them some level of obedience that will then lead them into some agility? And that's where your thing is going to be. It's going to be fun nose work that you want to get them into. And where does that start? Where does that point start? Do you want to create fun nose work, a curriculum or class, and then join a dog training group or a company and bring fun nose work into their organization so they continue with running their pet dog side of thing, and then they filter down those dogs and humans that are interested in doing fun nose work to you, where you run a fun nose work within another company, right? So there's all kinds of different things you can do, but this is the point where you begin to really figure out who it is you're going to be when you become that dog trainer, when you start your business. What is it that you are going to focus on? This is important. Super important. As I'm going to tell you later on in how determining who your perfect customer is, it's really important to start with a very narrow niche. Very important. And you can become successful much faster by creating a very narrow niche using that attractive character. So you're going to decide on an attractive character, you're going to decide on this perfect niche, and you're going to work just that for a couple years and really build that audience, really build that part of your company before you start expanding to a whole bunch of other stuff, bite work and tracking and agility and service dogs and dock diving dogs and burrowing dogs, whatever, right? You're going to you can do those other things, but don't do them now. If you're just starting out, narrow down exactly who you are and who you're going to train and what you're going to train them to do. Narrow that completely down. As you're journaling, really try to figure out what it is that you continue to write down. What are those things you write down a lot? And maybe that'll give you a clue as to who you're going to be most effective with the fastest and creating your expertise around that one thing. You're going to become known in your community for that one thing much faster than you will if you try to do a whole bunch of things. Because then you're just this dog trainer that does a whole bunch of things. You need to hone down. So early on, I became really well known as a police dog trainer. I started traveling in the United States. I was teaching in just about every state in the United States and then in Canada. I then traveled to Europe. I traveled to South America, and I became widely known as a police dog trainer. I was president of the the Orange County Police Canine Association, right? And I started another. Or a couple other organizations along the way, and I became known as this police dog trainer, patrol dog, bite dogs, that kind of stuff. It wasn't until later that I got involved in detection dogs. Many people look at me now and say, wow, you do a lot of detection dog stuff, and I even testify in court cases regarding detection dog stuff. Well, that's not where I first made I created my first footsteps and my footprints. That's what I was looking for. It was in the police dog training niche. That's where I started. That's where became my first. That was the first expertise I really honed in on and became really good at. decoying, teaching human beings how to become decoys for police dogs and to do it right. Many times the decoy is much more of a trainer for the dog than the dog trainer himself, right? And so understanding all those concepts, how to use the tools, how to use the sleeves, the bite suits, the muzzles, really I immersed myself in police dog stuff, and that's where I started. And that's what you need to do. You need to figure out what it is that you're going to do, and you're going to focus on that. You're going to learn every detail about how to do that, and you're going to know everything you possibly could know. You can't learn everything, but everything you can possibly learn, you're going to learn about that one thing. And it's so much easier than trying to learn a lot about everything, because you never will. There's not enough time in the day. Learn everything you can about one thing and stay focused on it. And if you get a dog that comes in and says, hey, I want to do this thing, and it doesn't fall within that very narrow thing that you're going to do in the beginning, then you want to make sure and send it out to somebody that does that thing, right? Whoever that is, you're going to farm it out to that person until you are ready. Don't be, there's a little bit about greed, where that you see some dollar signs where, I can get paid a lot more money for doing this thing that's coming in. But don't let the greed get you and take you off task, because you're going to want to focus, and no matter how hard it is, focus on that thing and try not to get steered away from a bunch of other stuff. I am a shiny object chaser from time to time, and something will come up and I'll say, well, I really got to learn that. And I'll turn my focus away from what I was doing and focus on this other stuff, which happens all the time. And so I know what I speak of. I have been taken off my trail a few times because I'm attracted to shiny objects. So be strong, be firm, and understand that this is my timeline. Set a goal. First 6 months, I'm going to learn, all I need to know about this one thing. I'm going to begin teaching classes. My goal is to get 10 people in each class every time we run one. Each class is going to be 4, 6, 8, 10 weeks long. And then after I get done with one, I'm going to do another. I'm going to do this for 6 months. And after the 6 months, I'm going to evaluate where I am, if I need to learn more, and then we are going to continue on either on the same path, or I'm going to add, one thing. Just add one thing. Maybe puppy class. So let's just say that you're doing obedience for problematic dogs, not too problematic, not aggressive, just problematic, running out the front door, jumping on people when they come in the house, eating crap in the house, jumping the fence, annoyance barking, all that kind of stuff. So you're going to focus on that. You get really good at that. You know as much as you can possibly know at that time, and you're being very effective. You're not being stumped as much as you did when you first started. Then 6 months, a year and a half, 2 years down the road, all right, now we're going to add puppy training, right? And so you make a transition. Now we have adult dog training. Now we have puppy training. And now you get really good at that. Because now the adult stuff and the things you can now do that without having to think much anymore. You don't have to learn much anymore, because it just becomes natural. But now you're going to begin learning more about puppy stuff. Once you get that up and going and you're really good at it, and you maybe even have somebody taking over for you, and now they're doing it and you're monitoring it and watching, now you add your next thing if you want to. If you just want to be really good at those things and you want to be In-N-Out Burger and just focus on the burgers, then that's what you're going to do, and stick with it. The problem I had was that I branched out and did a whole bunch of things. After I got really good at being a police dog, and I was good at it, I could have just stuck with that, and I could still be doing that today. But no, I started doing a whole bunch of other stuff, and now I become in demand on the legal aspects of dogs, and I do way more work on the legal aspects of dogs, and can hardly breathe and can hardly do any of this stuff. Right? I can't get back to what I was doing and loving to do because I'm doing too much of the other thing. So if you're not careful, there's things that can take you off your path that you'll end up doing that you may like, but just understand it's not the thing that you started off doing. All right. So the things you need to do today are figure out who your character is, who your attractive character is, what is good about you, what is not that great about you. What you're going to shine in, what you're going to embellish upon, if it's a sense of humor, if it's the teacher in you or the examiner. There's a number of things that you can look at as to the personality traits that work best for you in regard to how they attract other people. Remember, you want to have the personalities and the traits that attract people, because that's what you need. You need people to pay you money so you can begin to make money at being a dog trainer, and you're going to find that niche that you're going to focus on. The reason I put these two things together, because they kind of go hand in hand. right? If you are, and I was going to end this at 20 minutes, but here we are at 23, almost 24 minutes. But I missed this point. The important thing is if you are kind of a mild-mannered person, and get in trouble with strong personalities, the last thing you're going to want to do is possibly be a police dog trainer, right? You see how this works? So if you are, hi, my name's Andy, and I'm here to train your dogs. I've been doing it for a really long time, and I think that I can make an impact on your dogs, right? And what's going to happen is I know police officers are going to switch you off before you even get started. They're not even going to listen to you. Your information, your knowledge, your expertise may be far beyond any of the people that you're trying to teach. So far beyond, but they're never going to hear you because they don't respond well to people that don't have a strong personality. That is just the way that it is, right? You're going to have people that come to you, and this was the one point I was going to get to that I forgot, is that you're going to have people that come to you that your oil and, is it oil and water? Yeah, oil and water, or a match and gasoline, right? It's just not going to work. And you're going to have to be strong enough to say, you know what, I really appreciate where you are at with your dog, but I don't know that your situation is right for our program. Let me refer you to a couple people that are better equipped to handle what it is that you have going on with your dog. And you're not telling them because they're assholes or jerks or whatever it is. Sorry if there's children listening. I'm so sorry. I didn't mean to say that. If there's somebody that you really don't like, you don't tell them to go away with that information, right? You want to refer them out to some of your friends who can handle that kind of person, who maybe that's who they like as their customers. I enjoyed having some pretty gnarly people in my classes from time to time because it kept me interested and I really liked it. And I could handle them. But I had trainers that worked for me that they would nearly start crying if that person came to their class because they knew what was going to happen. So understand that your attractive character is not going to attract everybody, and be comfortable with it. Know that right away. Know when it's not going to work and send them off to somebody else. All right. So those are the two things I have for you. Again, take your time, journal. Whether you're a seasoned dog trainer or a brand new dog trainer, take these episodes, which you're listening to, and use them based on where it is that you're at. If you pass them on to your management maybe, and have them understand, hey, we need to build a volunteer program or an intern program, because there's people out there that need our help and we could use their help, to tell you the truth. Sometimes you have registration that needs to be done and you're busy with the dog training that it's hard to do the registration part. You can have them do that for you as you're getting prepared for class. Having people put on collars because collars aren't fitted right, and say, hey, can you go see Jane? She's going to help you with your collar, and then give Jane specific directions. Make sure, Jane, that the leash and the collar work for this dog. The collar needs to be in such a size that it doesn't slip over the dog's head, and you give Jane good direction. And she's a volunteer. And what that does is it frees you up to focus on the things that you are best at, right? And so the information from the first few episodes and this episode are for you, whether you're a seasoned veteran or brand new. All right. So that's it for me from Falco Canine Academy, and I appreciate you listening. Go ahead and visit FalcoCanineAcademy.com or our Facebook page, Facebook.com/whatever it is, Falco Canine Academy. I forget what it is. All right, I will see you at the next one, or not. I say that every time. I'm used to doing video. I will be talking to you at the next podcast. All right, take care. Talk to you later.
Thanks for listening to Falco Canine Dog Talk, the show that helps you and your dog create a relationship of love and respect. If you like what you just heard, we hope you'll pass along our web address at www.falcocanineacademy.com and like our Facebook page at facebook.com/Falco Canine Academy. Follow us on twitter.com/Falco Canine Academy and subscribe to our YouTube channel at youtube.com/Falco143. And remember, if you've got questions for Andy, call the Canine line at 714-798-9961. That's 714-798-9961. This is a production of Falco Enterprises Incorporated. All rights reserved.